Morning guys, Dave Canterbury at the Pathfinder School. I wanted to continue with our series on bulletproof bushcraft on a budget today, and we're up to talking about containers at this point. And what I want you to understand is, and I'll reiterate this a little bit for the folks who are new to watching my videos or new to the Pathfinder system, but there are 5 C's that I consider essential to your survivability: a cutting tool, a combustion device, a cover element or microclimate, a container, and cordage. And the reason I've chosen those 5 C's, I call them, as the most important items for you to carry is because, number one, they directly affect in some way, shape, or form your ability to control your body's core temperature. At the same time, they're also the most difficult items to recreate in nature from natural materials, and they take the most amount of skill level to recreate in nature. And containers are very area specific. It's almost like cutting tools when you're looking for nappable stone. To make a container in the wild, you have to have specific material for that, especially if it's a container that you're trying to cook in or disinfect your water. And that's why we always talk about carrying a metal container with a seal that you can carry your water in as well as disinfect your water and cook. So if you're going to have one item that you're going to carry with you, it should be capable of holding water to be carried, and also have the ability to be placed into the fire to disinfect water, to cook medicines and foods and things like that, and to heat water. So let's talk real quick about a few containers real fast here. To create a container in the Eastern Woodlands, you could burn a bowl. Again, you're not going to be able to put that in the fire. You could create a clay vessel that you could put in the fire. There's plenty of clay in the state of Ohio. There's plenty of it on this property, but that takes a large amount of investment in calories and a large amount of skill to reproduce that, to make a good viable container out of clay. And then you've got the worry of trying to seal that container to carry your water in it. So, common man, bulletproof stuff. This is a World War I aluminum canteen. Now, a lot of the stuff I'm going to show you in this video is going to be made from aluminum. So if you're worried about the threat of Alzheimer's from drinking out of aluminum, then this video is probably not one for you. But myself, I've been drinking and eating out of aluminum my entire life, and I'm not worried about it. This canteen is a World War I style canteen. It's bigger than 1 quart. It's about 1.1, 1.2 liters. It's about the size of the canteen that comes with the new cook set that's stainless steel at the Pathfinder School. It does have the same type Bakelite lid on it. And bear in mind, it's a World War I canteen with a Bakelite lid, and it's bulletproof. I've taken this chain and I've replaced it with a split ring so that I can take that off and on very easily to put this in the fire. The big disadvantage to canteens like this that are made out of aluminum, all canteens are going to have some type of seam on them if they're made of metal. There's no extrusion process that can create this in one piece in our technology today. So it has to be seamed together either in halves or seamed together this way in a bisection. Any canteen that you have this metal is going to have that no matter what metal it's made out of. This one is aluminum. It's sealed or soldered or welded across the seam in a clamshell. The only problem with putting this in the fire, and I say the only problem is, and I've had this one in fire many, many times, you can tell by looking at it, you don't want to put this in the fire empty. Okay, this is not a container you're going to be able to make char cloth in very easy because you're liable to melt those seams. So as far as your ability to make char cloth in something like this, you're probably not going to be able to do it. But you can make charred material just by burying it in the fire, and we've talked about that in other videos. So this is a good bulletproof container that you can carry your water in, that you can disinfect your water in, and I think this one came from a gun show for $2. Now, the advantage to this one is it has a wide mouth. The other canteens, and this one's dated 1953. This is a Korean War era canteen. This has a small mouth on it. This is another aluminum canteen, sealed here. It's the 1 quart military canteen with the chain. It's very hard to remove to be able to take this lid off to put this in the fire. It can be done, but you're going to have to replace it with some type of split ring. This one's just one that I have in my collection. I don't use this one, but it does fit the regular canteen cup. So if you've got that combination, you're in pretty good shape container wise. And if you can get a lid for this or a flat rock, you can make char cloth in this. The only disadvantage to this besides the chain is that it has a small opening in the mouth, so it's going to be hard to fill with water or hard to cook in. But if you have the Canteen cup, you've got that licked. This Canteen costs about somewhere between $1 and $5 at a gun show. The Canteen cups cost somewhere about the $5 range at a gun show. This is the old style with the handle on it that folds out. This is the style I prefer. That's why the new Canteen that we make is just like this, because it gives you 1, 2, 3 points of contact so that that thing doesn't teeter around in the fire. Those butterfly handles where it only sits here, it tends to teeter around in the fire. If you've got this third leg on there, so to speak, it doesn't teeter around. That's why I prefer that design. It's also much easier with this one to take a couple of brass rings or steel rings and put them over the top of this, and then put a branch through here so that you can hold it over the fire if you prefer. You can't do that with the butterfly handles very easy at all. That's why I prefer that style. So total cost of that cook set's probably 10 bucks or less. Okay, let's talk about, while we're on containers, let's talk about pans, okay? Multiple containers. You always want more than one. 2 is 1, 1 is none. And as many containers as you can carry, I would carry them. All my redundancies are within the 5 C's, and that includes my containers. So if I'm going to have multiples, it's going to be containers, cutting tools, ways to make fire, different types of cordage, and the list goes on. This is just a $1 dog bowl from a dollar store. This thing's been used a gazillion times. All I do is take a pair of vice grips, again, very multi-purpose, and I clamp them to the side, just like this. And now I have a handle for my pot. I can also cook in it like a pan. You can nest 2 of these inside of each other very easily, very cheaply, and you have 2 of them. This will hold almost 1 quart of water for boiling. You'll get a lot faster boil increasing the surface area than you will in a bottle. So if you have a pot like this to boil water in, you're going to boil much faster and use less fuel than trying to boil in a Canteen or a Canteen cup. So this is a very cheap, common man way to do things, and the pliers are very multifunctional and multi-purpose. We've talked about these in other videos. We've actually talked about this setup in other videos. Okay, now, this set right here, this is a full set of gear. Get this other stuff out of the way. This is a full set of gear that came off of eBay, and all of this nests together. I paid $20 for the entire set. It has pots in it, very, very reminiscent of what Horace Kephart describes in his book for camp cooking. Very reminiscent of what they use still every day, bushcrafters use in Europe. Very similar to like the zebra style pots. And the only thing I don't like about them is the money that they cost. You know, there's no nesting abilities there except for maybe a couple small cups. And you're not going to get them near as cheap as I got this. 20 bucks for this whole set. A zebra pot costs more than 20 bucks by itself. Again, it's stainless steel. This is aluminum. There's a difference there. I'm not afraid to eat or drink out of aluminum. So it's got a nice little lid catch on it right there. The lid fits nice and snug. This is the one I used when I made the fire video. I keep my fire kit and things of that in nature in here and just put it in the bottom of my pack. But this set came with this pan, which has an aluminum handle that goes through, or a steel handle that goes through the bottom loop here, so that you have a cook pan. And this would be more for an outfitting situation where you had 4 or 5 hunters going into the woods. It has lids for all the pots. It has a very small pot that nests inside all of the other ones. It has a coffee pot that's very, very handy. A lot of bushcrafters in Europe just carry these coffee pots instead of carrying a pot like this. There's not much difference in size there, but you have butterfly handles on this, plus you have the hanging loop, plus you have a pouring spout that's got a strainer built into it. The lid fits on it really nicely, and this would be a really nice addition to any bushcraft kit, just as a pot to go with your water bottle. Then it has the larger pot here that has the lid, exactly like the other 2 that are smaller. And then it also has the pan that becomes a lid for your large stew pot. So for 20 bucks, that's 1, 2, 3, 4 pots. This one actually didn't come with it. This was given to me by a friend, and it nests inside the rest of the set but doesn't go with it. And he said he got this at a thrift store for $1. So for 20 bucks, I got the stew pot, the larger pot, this pot, and the coffee pot, all in one shot for 20 bucks off of eBay. That is what I would consider a killer deal as far as having containers. Even carrying just this container right here is a huge improvement, in my opinion, even over a Zebra. This thing will do a lot of good stuff for you as long as you're not afraid to drink out of aluminum. It's got good steel connectors on it. It's got a good steel bail, good steel butterfly handles. That thing is just impossible to beat. There's no way a Coleman coffee pot would beat this thing. They're not near as durable as this thing is and not near made as bulletproof. This is a key element of this whole set. So again, 20 bucks, 4 containers. You know, you could outfit 4 hunters with this very easily, and it all nests inside of each other, like I said, very easily. If you were going to carry it in a canoe to a base camp, or like with a horse or something like that, all of this stuff would nest very well. And this other pot's just a bonus that I got from my buddy. It fits right down inside there as well, into the coffee pot. All the lids fit inside, and there's plenty of room in there for a couple utensils and things like that as well. But this is the one I've been carrying, and I may switch to the coffee pot, you know, now that I've got the full set. Okay, the last container I want to talk to you guys about real quick is the MSR Seagull. Again, you know, this is not as common, man. This is like 20 bucks all by itself. This is the 0.75 liter. The thing I really like about this is that it's small and compact. It's got a good retention lever on it that can be used, and I've got a fire kit in here that can be used as a pot handle. You can stick your fish mouth spreader in here to use this for a pan. I've showed that in other videos. So if you've got this system right here and a water bottle, you got a nice compact cook system, and you can keep your fire kit, your med kit, whatever you want to keep inside here. I just keep mostly my fire kit in mine. And you can see this one's been used and abused. It is stainless steel. You're never going to wear it out, but you're talking 20 bucks. So if you pay 20 bucks for a water bottle and nesting cup and 20 bucks for this, 40 bucks you've got in your total container cook set, and you're pretty bulletproof. But if you want to go the other route for 20 bucks, like I got that on eBay, you can get everything you need for 20 bucks. Garbage can. 5 bucks for this garbage can. This is a Sterilite. 5 bucks at Dollar General. I can put this right down inside my backpack, and I have another container, albeit not metal, but it's plenty good for collecting water and things like that, collecting rainwater off a tarp, collecting rainwater from a creek if I have smaller containers like the MSR and things like that. And this MSR nests really good inside this $1 dog bowl. So if I stuff that right in front of my pack, along with, you know, my water bottle, I got a pretty bulletproof cook system there, really, really cheap. That's why I like that so well. And then of course the canteens are always a good option as well. Just hard to find a good metal canteen very inexpensively, because unless it's surplus, you know, that extrusion process is an expensive process. That's why there's no US made metal canteens. Well, guys, listen, I appreciate you guys joining me for this video on containers. All of this stuff is pretty much bulletproof. I've got one of these Sterilite trash bags or trash cans in my Duluth Bushcraft pack. It's been there for probably almost 2 years, and I've never broken it. I've had it out, I've used it, I've done everything but sit on it pretty much, and I've never broken it. So that's a pretty bulletproof system. Combine that with this stuff, and you know, a dry bag is another container. I always carry at least 1, if not 2 dry bags inside here. I generally drop this in the top of one of the dry bags, and you got a lot of containers to deal with in a situation, even if you're just out tramping in the woods, as Nesmic would say. Containers are the king. You're going to use them for a lot of stuff. Make sure you get the best quality you can afford, but you don't have to spend a lot of money to get good quality. In my opinion, this right here is a bomber quality cook set for 20 bucks, and it's got everything you need in it except a water bottle. I'm Dave Canterbury at the Pathfinder School. I appreciate you joining me for another video. I thank you for everything you do for me, for my school, for my family, for all my Pathfinder affiliates and friends. And I'll be back with another video as soon as I can. Thanks, guys.